In the thick, towering forests of the South African wilderness, our story opens with two rangers, Fairweather and Gabby, testing their limits on a remote Department of Wildlife Management land. The mood is heavy with humidity and isolation, as tangled vines and ancient tree trunks loom overhead. Fairweather leads a dusty, aging vehicles deeper into this realm, with Gabby in tow. Their mission is twofold: to record the native baobab trees and scout areas for illegal logging. The forest seems alive, watching them. Gabby expresses a sense of unease. Fairweather brushes it aside with a professional calm. As they drive further in, their path becomes obstructed by fallen trees, vines hanging like curtains, and strange insect noises. They step out of the vehicle, cameras and recording gear in hand, to document the ecological damage. Gabby films slowly, zooming in on cracked tree barks, fungus growth, and a dead baobab with strange markings. Meanwhile, overhead, the canopy shifts in the wind and birds cry, though their calls seem distant and hollow. The atmosphere tightens as dusk falls. They decide to camp overnight near a clearing. Fires are lit, gear set down, and the crackle of embers echoes. Gabby mentions an older ranger's warnings about this section of forest, whispered tales of unnatural events and disappearing trips. Fairweather chuckles politely, but the forest remains silent and ominous. The night seems to press in, every shadow sharper, every rustle louder. Their conversation fades as they prepare to rest, unaware that the forest will not remain quiet for long. Morning breaks with a pale, watery light. Gabby awakes to birdsong, though the tone is off-key, like a distant alarm. Fairweather is gone. Panic flits across Gabby's face as she finds the tracks of their vehicle. The tires rest awkwardly, half-lodged in a muddy ditch. Searching around, she discovers Fairweather's backpack, camera gear scattered near a mud-slick bank of the river that runs through the forest. His radio crackles weakly, static and intermittent. Gabby uses the radio to call in, but the signal breaks, echoing the forest's oppressive quiet. She straps on boots and ventures out, camera in hand, determined to find him. The forest greets her with unfamiliar markings, tree trunks scarred, vines twisted into tight coils, moss-forming shapes almost resembling creatures. Gabby's breathing falters, ambient noise seems to swell. As she moves deeper, she comes across treehouses made of natural materials, hidden platforms up in the canopy, suggesting someone, or something, has been living here. Fear mixes with curiosity. She climbs carefully, shining her torch across dark recesses. The path leads to a clearing where a sprawling, ancient baobab stands, its limbs stretching wide. On closer inspection, she sees strange carvings etched into bark and vine bindings around roots. Signals of ritual, or of something guarding the forest. Gabby pauses, looking around. Something rustles above in the canopy. A large shape swings silently between trees. She raises her camera, presses record, but the shape vanishes in an instant. Heart racing, Gabby realizes that this forest may hold secrets far deeper than she expected. Shadows shift. The forest watches. As Gabby continues her search, the atmosphere tightens further. Every step feels measured. She ventures into a wetland within this forest, black water reflective like glass, reeds rustling where no wind blows. The sun is low, casting long, distorted tree shadows. Gabby stumbles across an abandoned ranger's logbook, half submerged at the water's edge. Pages hint at missing persons, unexplained tracks and deep fear, from earlier patrols in this forest region. She records the entries with her camera, voice trembling. The forest seems to respond, the reeds whisper, the water mirrors sky and tree in unnatural clarity. Gabby walks a narrow boardwalk, cracking underfoot, until she hears voices, muffled, echoing through the trees. She follows them, coming to a deforested patch, stumps cut crudely, vines torn away, and in the center, the remains of equipment and a burned tree trunk. Signs of conflict, of intrusion. Then suddenly a loud crack of wood, the boardwalk breaks beneath her. She slips, plunging into the water. Gabby fights her way out, coughing, water black and cold. Camera's wet, gear lost. She sees shapes under the surface, roots, vines, and something else streaming through the dark. On the bank, she climbs shakily up, soaked and breathless. Her camera records in slow motion as she stumbles back into the forest. She looks behind, footprints, large, irregular, lead back to the clearing with the baobab tree. She follows them, determination and dread mingled in her face. The forest seems to pulse. As dusk returns, lightning flickers in distant clouds, though no rain falls. Gabby realizes she is far more entangled in the forest's mystery than she ever intended to be. Night finds Gabby huddled in a small makeshift shelter beneath vines that drip with moisture. The forest hum is constant, insects, frogs, unknown calls. She reviews footage on her camera, blurred shapes, strange markings, possible faces and roots. She makes a decision: she must go upward, into the canopy, to discover the source of these signs. Gabby climbs one of the treehouses she found earlier. Shadowed platforms ringed by vines, rope ladders that sway. She mounts a shaky ladder as the moon glimmers through breaks in the leaves. Up top, she surveys the forest canopy, a vast sea of green silhouetted against the sky. In the distance she sees more treehouses, a network of wooden platforms high in the trees, all interconnected with rope bridges. Her heart pounds. She steps onto a bridge, the first creaks. She steadies herself. Mid-crossing, a branch snaps overhead and something leaps across the bridge, a blur of limbs and leaves. Gabby freezes. She raises the camera, torch in hand. The thing vanishes among the trees. Silence returns. She keeps moving, deeper into this arboreal world. She comes on a central platform built around a massive baobab, its limbs forming a cathedral of bark and vines. On its trunk, carvings of humanoid figures, vines merging into shapes. Gabby reaches out, running her hand over the carvings. The texture is slimy, alive. She touches a vine wrap and it pulses with tiny movements. Her breath catches. A low rumble beneath, roots shifting. Branches rustle. She descends rapidly to the ground, the connection broken. On the forest floor, something, large, indistinct, moves between trees. Gabby's torch flicks. She shouts, the thing stops. Their eyes meet. Gabby drops the camera and runs. The forest closes in behind her, branches slapping, vines grabbing. Her feet pound the earth. She bursts out of the treehouse zone and into a clearing. Her chest heaves. The forest watches. Daylight returns. Gabby awakens at the edge of the forest, bruised, disoriented. She stares at her camera lying in the dirt, lens cracked. She retrieves it and watches the last footage, a blur, a shadow, her scream. She knows now that something is protecting the forest, a guardian or an ancient system far older than human intervention. Yet she must press on. Alone and anxious, she moves back through the forest toward the ranger station, hoping for help. Along the path she finds more evidence, tree carvings marking boundaries, traps made of vines and tree roots entangled like snares, and old equipment strewn about. A sense of hidden resistance grows. Suddenly she hears a voice behind her, weakly scratched over radio. It's Fairweather's voice, faint, call for help. Relief surges, but she knows she must be cautious. She follows the direction of the voice, deeper in. The forest opens into a clearing where machinery lies abandoned, a massive logging rig, toppled, root and vine wraps immobilizing its wheels. The voice echoes again, calls for Fairweather, for backup. Gabby raises her camera and records the scene. Then the forest itself seems to stir, vines crawl, roots shift, wood creaks. She senses motion behind a fallen log. A massive shape slides away silently. Gabby catches a glimpse of a creature, thick limbs, bark-like skin, eyes glowing faintly. She gasps and turns, only to find the forest still. She revives her radio and sends a message, need evacuation now. Silence. She realizes help may not come. She is alone once more with the forest's secret, the guardian's presence, the land itself. She sets off toward the ranger station, every step weighed down by what she's witnessed. The green darkness watches. As Gabby nears the ranger station, she struggles with doubt and fear. The landscape becomes less wild but no less oppressive, trees prune, the canopy thin. She reaches the station to find it deserted, radio silent, desks covered with dust, computer monitors black. Files lie open, missing reports, ranger entries incomplete, patrols stopped mid-sentence. She scans the papers. One log warns, the forest defends itself. Leave. Gabby shivers. She powers up the radio, static, then a barely audible word, go. She unpacks her gear and prepares for the last leg of her journey, to contact headquarters and bring in external assistance. But the forest has other plans. She steps outside and hears branches cracking nearby. A massive shadow slips between trees. She runs back inside, locks the door, but the station is old, windows rattle, vines prod through cracks. Her phone signals not. She records a final message, I'm entering the forbidden zone. If I don't return, this footage is proof. She climbs into the forest again, now with intention and purpose, knowing time is limited. The air thickens, heavy with humidity and expectation. She crosses broken paths, streams lined with unnatural roots, moss-forming clustered figures like watchers. A low humming sound pulses. Gabby listens. She raises the camera and records growth on tree bark, vines moving like tentacles. She realizes the forest is alive in ways she never imagined. Her breath echoes. She feels both awe and terror. Up ahead she senses a large structure, roots entwined in metal. She approaches, and the forest seems to part. In the heart of the green, she pauses, camera raised, ready for what lies ahead. The forest watches. Gabby stands at the edge of a cavernous depression in the forest, a sinkhole perhaps, swallowed by vegetation. She holds her torch and camera tightly, steps carefully down the slope into darkness. The walls of the pit are covered in bioluminescent mold and vines that drape like curtains. She records each step. The air grows colder, wetter, the smell of earth and decay intensifies. She reaches the bottom and finds logs stacked, old equipment wrapped in roots, and strange humanoid imprints in softened soil. She films them slowly. Then she hears the sound, scraping overhead. She tilts the camera upward and catches a glimpse of movement. Vines part and a large bark-skinned creature steps into moonlight filtering through cracks above. It stands motionless, watching. Gabby freezes. She whispers, camera still. The creature remains still for seconds that stretch like minutes. Then it turns and slips away. Gabby pursues, deeper into the pit. The cavern leads into a tunnel of roots and branches, climbing upward. She pushes on, adrenaline now coursing through her veins. She emerges into a vast grove, trees ancient and massive, their limbs knit together in a natural cathedral. In the center lies the colossal baobab from before, but magnified, its trunk wider, limbs reaching the sky, roots sinking deep into earth-stained black. Gabby raises her camera again, documenting the sacred space. The forest here breathes. She realizes she has found something primal, elemental. But the forest is not neutral, it is guarding. The air vibrates as something moves among the roots, unseen. Gabby steps back, heart pounding. She turns and runs toward the surface, guided only by torchlight and her pounding pulse. The forest watches. Morning light breaks through the canopy as Gabby returns to the surface, her clothes torn, camera battered, body exhausted, but spirit resolute. She retraces her steps through the forest, emerging at the ranger station before moving on to the logging site. We see her footage projected on monitors, shaking hands, flickering images of creatures, roots enmeshing metal, vines twisting like guardians of this place. She calls in from a satellite phone, relays what she saw, what the forest holds, what must not be disturbed. The logbooks, the treehouses, the markings, they all tell the same story, a land defending itself, ancient and alive. Gabby stands at the side of the toppled rig, looking up at the towering forest. She triggers her camera one last time, capturing the silent trees, the shifting shadows, the windless rustle of leaves. As she records, her voiceover details the implications, our intrusion, our obligation. She asks the question, when nature no longer answers our tools and machines, what happens next? The forest remains unchanged, patient, eternal. In that moment Gabby understands, this place cannot be tamed. It cannot be logged. It must be respected. With finality, she packs her gear, walks back toward the edge of the forest, and pauses at its boundary. The trees stand still. The vines hang silent. The air hums. She turns and leaves, camera in hand, the forest's secret intact, for now.